Welcome back to another episode of Compression. Wait, compression is. Why did we choose compression as the title? It's such a difficult word to say quickly.
It was your idea.
Okay. Welcome back to another episode of the Compression Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Ali.
And I'm Arima.
And I don't know if you picked up on this, but something really funny happened that our last episode, when we published that, we published it a little later than we should have. And that actually meant that in that episode, for anyone who didn't listen, go and listen to it. But we talked about Samsung's Galaxy S21 family of phones, like the rumors and everything. But you might have realized that we put out the podcast about the leaks 2 days after the phones were announced.
I think it was on the day, wasn't it?
No, I actually accidentally uploaded it a little bit late. So, yeah, sorry about that. You got our impressions of the leaks and rumors and everything a little bit later than you should have. But instead, the good news is that now that the phones are out, we're going to talk about the phones themselves. And they were, spoiler alert, they were pretty damn similar to the regular S21 rumors. Design-wise, I guess. And I gotta ask, first of all, the controversial design. How do you feel about
design.
it? I'll say my thoughts first. I don't really know how I feel about it. With some colors it looks good, with some it looks weird. It looks kind of like a superhero. It just doesn't look like a normal smartphone for some reason to me.
Yeah, for me, I like the look of the design, but I think, to be honest, I'm a bit indifferent with it. I'm fine with it, but the old design was fine as it was. Like, there was no need for this curve. But you know what? I think it might make the phone more durable. Because I know you're thinking about cases, but let's say if you dropped your phone, and then because this is kind of outwards a bit, then your screen wouldn't crack, your back glass wouldn't crack, your the camera glass would instead. I just realised that sounds about.
Yeah, I was wondering how it would work with cases and everything, because there's nowhere to grip onto the edge of the top left where the camera bump is. That looked kind of weird to me, kind of a little bit, maybe even, it seemed like it would just ruin the design. If you put a case on it and it covers the band around it, but then it just takes away from the design of the camera bump. And I know, I don't use a case, but you do. I don't think it would look that great with a case on.
I think it would look fine, and I don't think many people would actually care that much about how it looks from the back side, because obviously the case is to protect something. So if you're going for a case, you'll probably go for which one is more protective and which one looks better.
Yeah, I guess, which one's your favorite color? Because I said that it depends a lot on the colors. I even said that with the rumors. They came out with the exact color we saw in the rumors. You know that, the purple one with the yellow camera bump?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one,
Yep.
I don't like that one. Not for me.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know if it's how the camera bump and the back don't match, but I think there was a lot of hype around a specific color. What do you think about Phantom Black? So it's basically matte black back with
black. Yeah.
Matte black camera bump as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah.
I saw it was really hyped a lot. A lot of people. I'm a fan of matte black, but I don't know why I don't like it in this phone. It's gonna seem really controversial because so many people like it, but I just think it looks kind of weird how I think the camera bump should have been glossy. That's my hot take. I don't know if you agree with that, but I think it would have looked better if it was glossy.
No, I don't think so. Because especially with the way the design curves into the frame, it means that it will be contrasting. The whole point is it melts into the frame, so why would a glossy finish melt into a matte
Yeah,
frame?
but
So it wouldn't exactly make sense, and it definitely wouldn't look good.
the lenses are still glossy anyway. It just looks weird, like the matte black and then the glossy holes for the
To
cameras.
me, it kind of looks like a D-brand skin, and D-brand skins are awesome. So
Yeah, exactly.
I
It
like it.
does.
So
It looks like an applied like sticker or something. Like on the camera bump. It doesn't feel like it really should be there. Because it's like the lenses are glossy, so then shouldn't the rest of the phone, and then you maybe get one of those D brand skins or something. But speaking of the cameras, we'll go over a couple of specs. First of all, we'll cover regular S21 and S21 Plus. So the cameras you've got for both, this applies to both unless I say otherwise. So both have 12 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide, 64 megapixel telephoto, and max zoom is capped at 30x. There's a 4,000 milliamp hour battery for the regular, 4,800 for the plus. Both have Snapdragon 888s, and we'll leave a couple of the more controversial, I guess, changes which aren't particularly great till the end. But the main thing to pay attention to, the prices are lower. So Galaxy regular S21 is 800 now, and the S21 Plus is now 1,000.
is this in dollars or?
This is dollars, yeah.
Alright, yeah, that makes sense. Because I think when I was looking at it in pounds, it was less.
Yeah,
But,
we're gonna try and stick to
yeah, I
dollars
think
because it's difficult, like the conversions and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that should be better. Okay. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird. What was I saying? Yeah, I think it kind of makes sense that they've done this because of the things because of a couple things that are controversial that we'll leave for the end, but it makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I guess we'll get into those controversial things. First of all, this phone doesn't have an SD card slot anymore.
Oh, okay. We're going straight into the controversial things, I guess. Yeah, the SD card I think is a bit silly of them. Like, there's no point to remove it.
I don't think it's silly of them. It's just Samsung was like one of the last
Yeah,
ones to
that
hold
is
on
true.
to it. A lot of companies. I don't think there's been no iPhone so far that's had an SD card slot. And then Samsung it's just like the headphone jack. It's just gonna die again. It's another port that's gonna die.
Yeah, I think that is upsetting though, because so one of the points that I've seen a lot of people say is if you want to record in 8K, which you can, then you can only record like 300 minutes or something like that. So if you're someone who bought this phone for the cameras, which most likely you are, because it's a flagship,
Yeah,
it's got probably
with
one.
how much storage is the 300 minutes of recording?
I think that's with 256 gigs.
That's
But if you're looking at
that's not much
if
at
you
all.
look, yeah, if you're looking at 180 gigs, is it 180?
128?
Oh yeah, sorry, 128 gigs, then which is the base model, then there's just no real point having that 8K, because that 8K video for the 256, it means that you have no apps, the system isn't even there, so you have no One UI, no Android, nothing, you're just recording in 8K.
Yeah, you get like 2 hours of 8K recording or something.
Yeah.
With 128. Yeah, and by the way, what? Let's talk about 8K video recording on smartphones. It's not that great. If you've seen like camera demos or something, it's not that great. Like it's a lot of people say the regular camera. Just shoot video from the regular camera. It looks better than the 8K.
Yeah, I think right now, as of now, 8K doesn't actually mean anything because first of all, you can't view it on anything unless you have an 8K TV,
Yeah, which
which
most
are
people
still
don't.
being featured. Yeah, they're still being featured at CES, so it's definitely a rarity to have an 8K TV.
Yep. And they're super
But
expensive, by the way.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was like the LG
Um,
one, the 8K 88-inch was like $30,000 when
uh,
it first launched.
I think I've only ever actually. Have you seen an 8K TV in your life?
I've never seen an 8K screen in my life.
I'm pretty sure I have seen an 8K TV, QLED Samsung.
Okay. Did you, like,
So that was pretty.
was it actually, like, did you actually see a difference though?
Did I actually see it?
No, did you actually see a difference between 8K and, like, say 4K?
Not at all. To be honest, um, I have a 1080p Sony TV from like 2012 or something, and I
And it
definitely
didn't look
no, I
any
definitely
different.
saw a difference. But like it wasn't that much to say. You know what? This is. It was more the sharpness, the resolution wasn't that much to say. This is the future. It was more the colors. It was more like the quality of the display.
So what was the screen size again?
I'm not sure. It was I think one of the things was that it was not 88 inch or
No, what
something like
device
that.
was it, I guess?
It was a TV.
Okay. Was it? Okay. Um, but you didn't see it, like, up against 4K or anything, just to, like, tell the difference. But
No, no,
anyways,
no.
even on these phones, these S21s, they don't have 8K screens, so you're not going to be able to see your own footage that you take. But also, what other problems are there with the 8K? I've seen one report of terrible rolling shutter, so that's basically your video just turns to jelly, basically. Like, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. How do you explain rolling shutter? You gotta see it. You gotta see rolling shutter to, like, tell what it's like. It basically makes your video look over smoothened, I guess. Like, it just looks like jelly. It looks pretty bad. That's one of the downsides of 8K. Obviously, the storage size, and we said there's no SD card slot. So, I mean, it sounds cool on the spec sheet, but it's not that practical, if we're honest.
Uh-huh.
And then,
And also just to mention that I have two people who have brought this up. That they're people they know or themselves. They have these phones like the S20s as work phones, and they have to do a lot with files. So they're given SD cards so that they can use them and then transfer from to their laptop, so that when they're on the go or commuting, they can still work, or even at home, just on their phone, they can work. So it's a lot.
yeah, exactly. Like, people use SD cards as, like, a method of
File
transferring
transfer.
videos
Yeah.
from their phone to their desktop or something. It's, I mean, not that many phones have it anymore, but I guess it's kind of a bummer. Next controversial thing, the regular S21 is plastic, not the S21 Plus. The S21 Plus is glass, that's fine. S21 regular is plastic.
I think I'll just give my thoughts on this. I don't think it's that controversial, to me at least, because the S20 FE, which is the same price as the S20 right now, that's also plastic. So in like, if you're buying this phone, you're probably buying it a bit later, and the depreciation rate of Samsung is so much that they're probably not making enough money for the glass for them to keep it on. But also, plastic has its own pros. Like I was just talking to Ali before,
Yeah,
and
see,
I
this
threw
is
my
no.
phone.
Before you say any pros of plastic, I don't care what the pros are. Glass is obviously more expensive, and I'm done with giving Samsung excuses and saying they can drop this feature because we don't notice the difference too much. They can, oh, that's fine as well. They can drop that as well. We won't tell the difference that much. It won't make a difference to us. But then when they bring the price down that much, we'll say all the things that is cut back. Okay, so the plastic back on the S21, and these phones for the first year in a long time are not 1440p. They are regular FHD 1080p. I'm done letting Samsung just remove features that were cool in the flagships just because we don't tell the difference that much.
For me, I agree with you slightly, but to be honest, I don't agree with you. I think the only other rival phone that I can say has all of these features is OnePlus 8 Pro. And do those even have... It doesn't have 1440p,
It does.
does it?
8
Oh, it
Pro
does.
does. And it also lets you run them both at the same time.
It what?
It lets you run them both at the same time, unlike Galaxy S20 Ultra from last year.
But let's just 8 Pro, it doesn't have the best camera system. At least not as good as the S20.
They're on par though. I mean, you could. They're both flagship quality, as said by reviewers or something. I haven't tested the phones. I'm not saying like, as in these are. I mean, yeah, Samsung has great cameras, but OnePlus for a while, for the first time in a while, put some pretty great cameras in their phones.
Yeah, that
time.
is true actually. But I just don't think that I think the S21 is still a good value phone. I mean, the plastic. When you think of consumers, it's just because they're cutting away a feature, doesn't mean it makes it any difference to the consumer. So just because they're cutting away something, it doesn't exactly matter anyway. So even if you're saving £50, that's
okay. So I guess I'll ask, like, the main, like, the backdrop to all of this is it worth the decrease in £200 for no 1440p, a plastic back, and no SD card slot?
100%.
Really?
Yeah, because first of all, 1080p, the 1440p, you wouldn't notice a difference unless
Okay,
you
yes,
really...
I know you won't tell the difference, but the thing is, I don't want to
No,
keep
no,
letting
just because
Samsung
you
do
see
this.
No, but just because you see it on a spec sheet doesn't mean that it doesn't mean anything.
Okay, but
So
should a
what's the
flagship
problem?
not have 1440p?
A flagship
Flagships should.
a flagship of this size,
Okay, yeah, you could.
and of this price. One thing is that, so yes, fine, Samsung right now, if you pre-order it, it's $800, but you also get OnePlus Buds Pro with that. You get so many discounts along with that, and the OnePlus Buds are over $100. They're hundreds of dollars.
Okay,
So
but who's pre-ordering really though?
I think on Twitter, literally every single person
There's
in
not
my
that many
feed
people
were pre-ordering.
pre-ordering. Yeah, that's.
Not tech
your
reviewers,
feed
actual
is.
people.
I'm guessing like. Yeah, but I'm guessing like your feed is tech heads. So
Not
like
exactly.
phone nerds, but who want to get the phone as quick as possible. No, but if I say another thing, if I say this, what about Samsung? I'll bring in the phone, the Samsung Galaxy S6. That was 1440p. That had the highest end chip at the time, which was probably similar in price range to the Snapdragon 888. So it had the high end specs. It was a flagship, and it had 1440p, and it was. I'm not 100% sure on the pricing. It was probably like 500 or 600, or even less probably.
The thing is, I just want to bring up is that just because they're cutting away features, these features, let's say the iPhones, because they are by far, especially in the Western markets, they are the ones that are getting the attention, and the sales. So if you look at the iPhones, they are not cutting any features because they don't have many features to begin with. They don't have the features that they can cut. They have the base. And then with OnePlus,
Which iPhones?
iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Pro. What
but
can you cut from that?
they can still like bring down the price and like say no wireless charging or no IP or make it plastic.
Yeah, but I don't think Samsung brought down the price to justify these what do you call it? These cutbacks. I think they did it because first of all, to buy the fast charger, you need like £30. $30, let's say. To buy a case, you need an extra 10, an extra 20. So that's your 50. But then also, it's for they can invest it back into marketing. It's probably because people are buying their phones now because they're using it so much, because they're at home. Their screen time's probably rocketed up. So phone sales are they're probably having the best times of their lives right now. So they might as well cash in and lower their price in order to get higher higher amounts of sales.
Okay, I think we should just bring it back to the present now. We got a little bit off track. I'm just saying, these phones, the lack of all these features, like the drop in price of $200 is not enough to warrant the loss of the glass back, the loss of 1440p, the loss of no SD card slot. It's not. I don't think we should be accepting this anymore. That's what I'm saying. Because like the thing is, if we carry on letting the companies of these phones keep doing this, they're gonna keep doing it because they want profit margins. We're just gonna be helping them.
Again, I think you're wrong there. Just because when you say keep on doing this, it has no effect on us, and also except for the SD card slot. But because you just said how rare it is to find an SD card slot, so I don't think they're doing it for the profit margins. They're seeing the opening, and then they've probably got. I know the Snapdragon 888 takes less space, because the 5G modem is inside. So it means that
Yeah, I gotta give it to them. They did put in a bigger battery for the Plus.
yeah, they have a bigger battery. They have better cameras. They're probably investing in this 50 into One UI 3.1, or it will be 4 next year.
I'm hoping. I mean, so you're saying they're trying to make better profit margins to put that money into other things like One UI 3?
Maybe
Like
not, but I
the
think
development of One UI 3?
I just don't think that Samsung would cut back just one feature that people actually use in their phones just to make profit margins, because you can cut away so many other things. You can cut away some of the cameras there. You don't need to invest more into updating the One UI because people were happy with it as it was. They could stop investing in advertising so much. So if they were worried about their profit margins, I think they would definitely go another way. But I think Samsung has enough money for this not to be about money.
I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. It's kind of that was a little bit of a rant, but I just think the specific features that they chose to cut down are just they're too flagshipy, if you get what I mean. Like, Samsung's established those features in a flagship for so long, and now they're taking it away. They had 1440p for so long. They had the SD card slot for so long. And then they had glass. Every phone has glass now, come on. Unless if you're like a budget phone. Even the OnePlus Nord has a glass back.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought that was a mistake. And you know what? I've had plastic phones. I've had 2 plastic phones, one metal and one aluminium phone, and one glass back phone. And I think of all of them, plastic was my favorite. Because yeah, I think plastic is just it just makes sense to keep it.
Okay, we've been talking about S21 regulars for way too long. Let's move on to the Ultra, the big boy. This year, S21 Ultra actually has a smaller display than S20 Ultra, 6.8 inches as opposed to 6.9. Still has the 120 Hz display. All of them have 120 Hz, by the way. But a key feature, so regular S21s, we didn't mention, have a variable refresh rate between 48 and 120 Hz, so it can save battery life. Hopefully that's going to give you better battery life, obviously. And then the S21 Ultra can vary from 10 Hz to 120 Hz. I guess it's a little bit more expensive of a panel to be able to vary your refresh rate from those ranges. But the other thing, it's this year, so we'll go on a few other specs. 108 megapixel wide camera, 12 megapixel ultra wide, 10 megapixel, two 10 megapixel telephotos, one 3x, one 10x, and this one has the same max zoom of 100x, a front camera of 40 megapixels, the same 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and this year, also S Pen support, and they lowered the price by £200. The S21 Ultra is now £1,200 as opposed to last year's $1,400. Sorry, I keep saying pounds. It's dollars. Everything is dollars here. It's $1,200 this year. I guess like let's pick out like the key specs. So they have the same 8K video recording. Cameras aren't that. We haven't seen reviews yet. But I guess the other thing that we can go through is let's go through the most exciting one, the S Pen.
With the S Pen, one thing to note is that a lot of people on Twitter were saying that they wouldn't use it, especially because the case.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I used to really like the Notes because it had the S Pen, and then I realized there's not actually much you can do with it. There is a lot you can do with it, but like it makes sense to do stuff with your finger just normally. And it's not exactly a gimmick, but it's not something that a lot of people use regularly. So especially with that big fat case that has like a side pocket, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, but yeah, that we didn't talk about how this phone is gonna have the S Pen. So it doesn't have the slot like the Note, but it does. It comes with a set. It doesn't come with one. You have to buy a separate case for the phone, which costs like $70, and then the pen by itself is $40. So that's pretty expensive by itself. But then you have like this little phone which gets a little bit thicker because of the case. Okay, most people put cases on their phones anyway. But then you have one side a little thicker than the other because that's where the S Pen is. That's the part I don't think was well done at all. No offense, Samsung.
For me, I don't think they had any other option but to put it there. But yeah, it's not a great solution.
Yeah, it seems very optional when they do it like that. Because like the Note, don't get me wrong, I'm super happy Samsung didn't put an S Pen inside the S21 inside the S21 Ultra for that 5,000 milliamp hour battery.
Yeah, it'll probably mean a smaller battery.
5,000 milliamp hour battery. I'm not complaining at all. And it's probably going to even get better with the variable refresh rate. But the main question with this phone that it raises is that, will there be a Note phone next year? Did Samsung just kill the Note by making the S21 Ultra have the S Pen?
I don't think so, because the Note is...
Me neither.
Yeah, the Note isn't just about the S Pen. It's a huge feature of it, but it's a whole different lineup. So even, especially because the S21 Ultra, not many people actually buy the phone. They go for the S21 or the S21 Plus if they want that bigger screen, bigger battery. So it makes sense that they keep the Note, because especially since the S21 Ultra, it's optional, S Pen or not. You still have to buy the case. So even less people who buy the S20 Ultra are gonna go for that S Pen. So I very much doubt that the Note will be killed.
I'm just really happy that S21 Ultra is $1,200 now, as opposed to $1,400. Yeah, $1,400 was way too much. $1,200. Now you're kind of in the same like category, or I guess price range, as the other big elephant in the room, which is iPhone 12 Pro Max, I guess.
But I think it completely outspecs it. In every way possible. So that is one.
Hardware-wise, it crushes.
And yeah, we won't go into the software debate because that's basically just Android versus iOS.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's about it. Oh, and another thing, the final change, Samsung did another annoying thing with these phones. There's no charger in the box. They followed Apple's footsteps, like they did with the headphone jack, like they're gonna do with the port, I'm assuming, like every company's going to do. By the way, every company is taking the charger out of the box. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah,
Eventually, every company is going
100%.
to take it out.
Yeah,
Was this the year though?
I think I think there will be a few stragglers, but yeah, for sure they'll be taking it out of the box. But one thing to note is that unfortunately Samsung didn't go for the route of because one of Apple's things was that most people have the charger, so why would you need to ship it? But the iPhone 12 was the first one to have fast charging, so it makes sense that they shipped the charger because it's a new charger. No one would have it unless they own a Mac or an iPad or something like that. So I think what they really should have done was given an option. So if you have a fast charger already, don't take it. If you don't have a fast charger, then then go for the option that gives you a charger, because
But I
that
think
just makes sense.
I think the upside to Samsung doing it and pretty much every other Android manufacturer doing it is that their phones are USB-C. So people who use Androids are probably gonna have more than one USB-C charger around the house.
No, but that doesn't matter because it comes with a cable.
Yeah, but I guess because no, but the thing is the cable is USB-C to C. That's another thing to be a little bit worried about. The cable being USB-C to
Uh,
C, because most people, you could be like, yeah, most people have a charging brick at home, but in this case, do many people have charging bricks which are a USB-C connector? Most of them are regular USB.
that's actually a good point. I didn't realize that. So that's another disadvantage. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, and I'm very upset that Samsung followed their footsteps, at least this quickly. Because Samsung's usually, they didn't let go of the headphone jack until Note 10. They didn't let go of the SD card slot until now. They didn't. Well, now they've just dropped the charger straight away. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
upsetting.
they also dropped the headphones. Yeah, and speaking of Galaxy Buds Pro, not that much to talk about. It's basically just Pro. It has active noise cancellation. Same case as the Galaxy Beans, like the design and everything. And yeah, they also announced some other interesting products. One of them was their Smart Tag. They beat Apple to AirTags, but I guess that's fine. We
Yeah,
won't.
we were kind of looking at leaks about about Apple dropping these quite a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird to see. Well, it's not exactly weird, but um, it's kind of cool to see Samsung drop it first. But I
You think
guess
Samsung saw
MagSafe.
those leaks and then wanted to be first instead of like just saw the leaks and was like, Apple's eventually going to do it. We want to be first. So
Yeah,
and just
and
rushed to get it out.
also with the Galaxy Buds Pro, what price is it? Can I just ask?
I didn't search this up. I'll search it up right now. Galaxy Buds Pro. Choose from 3 colors. 220. What? 220. That's the regular buds were like 160. 220. That's pretty expensive. AirPods Pro like 250. They're in the same
Wait,
like category, like, I guess.
sorry, how much did you say the Galaxy Buds were? Do you say were or
Regular
are?
buds,
Because are, I just
I think retail for 160 or something like that, or 150.
yeah. So the Buds Plus right now on Amazon, because I know one of our friends got it for his
Yeah, but see,
brother.
this is the problem. You can always
They
say like, yeah, the Galaxy Buds regular are
yeah.
much cheaper now. They're probably like, I guess like £90 or something.
No, but this is a plus. So this came out last
Yeah,
year.
but
So
still, like, and then you could say, oh, why did Samsung increase the price so much?
because the noise isolation is good anyway with those wingtips, the
Okay, fair enough.
noise cancellation. Probably, if someone wants a good deal, then they could go for the pluses. But another thing is that you don't have to spend that much on a case for your Buds, which I thought was pretty cool. If you have the Samsung Galaxy Buds live, then you can use the same case because, like you said, they have the same shell.
Yeah. Wait, they actually like the pins connect up and actually charge?
No, what I mean is, so you can use the same like outer case. So a lot of people, especially with
Yeah,
AirPods, a
yeah.
lot of people put like
Use the same
they
one.
put so you can use so you have your case that charges the earbuds. Okay, that's the charging case. But then you have another case on top of that, and so many people do it. I have no clue why, but it's just a trend now or something. Yeah, especially with AirPods, there are so many. I just thought it was cool. It was also one of their marketing things. So.
Okay. But another, like, I guess if is that it for Unpacked? Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
No, I don't. I don't think so. Not really.
Okay. Okay, then moving on. The next topic. So, we're pretty late to this. We didn't talk about it for some reason in the last podcast. I guess we completely forgot. And that's the whole WhatsApp security problem and whether people are gonna switch to another messaging app. First of all, we use WhatsApp a lot. I know that. Especially in the UK, I guess. Not that... Because the thing is, so many iPhone users in the US make a big deal that the whole iMessage thing is like heaven, and you can interact so well with other people who have iPhones. I don't even have iMessage on my home screen. I've replaced it with WhatsApp because I use that like all the time. Even when I'm out and about, I just turn on mobile data and use WhatsApp.
You just really need to have someone who hasn't, like, a lot of people in your circle who have an iPhone, which I think for most cases everywhere else isn't the case. But because, the reviews and all of that, they, I'm not saying, because they're reviews they're wealthy, but they probably have a lot of friends who use iPhones. So when you're upper class, you can use iMessage just because it's they're not exactly budget phones. But with everyone else, when you're looking for value, you go for cheap Android phones. My dad just bought the Pixel 4a. I got the OnePlus Nord. The only real phone you can get is the SE, that gives you iMessage at such a low price. But not many people will be willing to go for the SE just to get iMessage.
Yeah, I also actually really like the WhatsApp's UI. How about you?
Yeah, I like it a lot actually. You can change stuff on it.
Yeah, it's pretty clean.
One of my favorite things. Yeah, it's quite clean.
I think it's more functional. I'll be honest. The reason I say it's more functional is because the send button is bigger. That's literally the only reason why. So like it's I don't miss it as much. Anyways, but the thing is, WhatsApp, if you didn't hear, you probably heard already. Even my like grandparents and my parents were like, they call me, they text me and stuff, and they're like, oh, what is WhatsApp doing? They're not even that into tech, because like I'm one of the only tech people. Like me and my dad were like the only tech people in our family. So then they're like, oh, what's happening to WhatsApp? What's this security thing? I don't want to update. Should I switch to another thing? But the thing is, me and my family actually use Telegram already a lot. My family who lives abroad, so like my grandparents and stuff, not my, like, what do you call it, like the primary family? Like your mum, dad, siblings?
First cousins. Alright, just... I don't know.
Anyways, those
my
people.
Immediate family.
Right, yeah. My immediate family, we just use WhatsApp. But like my grandparents stuff and cousins, we use Telegram. So, but another, like, so WhatsApp, I don't know too much about it. It's basically just a security problem. They like issued out this message in the app. They're like, agree to the terms and service below, or you won't be able to use WhatsApp, and then you have until 8th of February to do it. And then people freaked out, went on social media, and were like, no, we're not doing that. WhatsApp is going to share. So what is it actually about? WhatsApp is sharing info with Facebook?
So Facebook owns WhatsApp. So because Facebook is already involved in scandals to do with Cambridge Analytica, I think the terms and conditions allowed WhatsApp to basically sell your data to Facebook, which basically means that your data will be sold to Cambridge Analytica, to anyone Facebook wants to. Which, so WhatsApp said, "Oh, this is some huge misunderstanding," but I doubt it. I doubt that it's a misunderstanding. But then again, our messages should be encrypted. So
They should.
what data is actually being sold, I'm not too sure. But the whole, if you allow them to have a backdoor into your data, then in any circumstance, even if they can't sell your data, just shouldn't be allowed. So I think,
Yeah, that let's be honest, that people didn't use WhatsApp because they're tech heads like us and they liked the UI or it was more functional and it had more features. They used it because it was more secure. That was one of WhatsApp's main like advantages back in the day when people was like choosing a messaging app. But have you used any other messaging apps?
so wait. First of all, I'm gonna be honest here. When I first got the terms and conditions, that message you talked about, I just straight away said agree.
Yeah, same. Exactly.
I
I did
thought it
the
was
exact
nothing,
same. I
and
didn't
then
read them at all.
and then I
And
went
then the
onto
headlines
Twitter.
came, right?
Yeah, and then I went onto Twitter, and there was this huge thing about WhatsApp, and I was like, God, I just agreed to some terms and conditions, and
Exactly,
then
exactly.
and then we talked about Signal last podcast. So I installed Signal, and now I think most people are going to Signal because you can see so many memes then versus now. Signal was on like a million, went from like a million to 50 million users slash downloads in like a couple of weeks or days. So it's definitely Signal that's gonna blow up, mostly because of, first of all, Elon Musk, and also because they're known for
Yeah.
their encryption. They advertise it as a secure messaging app.
Yeah, it's so funny how Elon literally just tweeted Signal's a great alternative, and then literally that, like 2 days after or something, Signal became the most installed like messaging app or something, and people were actually having difficulties trying to get verification codes to get into the app because so many people were asking for codes. That was so, it's so funny. Like, I mean, it's Elon, so I guess you can expect that. But yeah, it's I don't. You didn't really actually answer my question though. Are you switching to another app?
Um, I don't want to sound like a sheep, but I am gonna sound like a sheep. It depends. It depends if
Yeah,
other
exactly.
people switch, because there's no point me having Signal, and then no one else using Signal. So then I just have it because it's good,
Yeah,
but then I'm
exactly.
still using WhatsApp, with my data being shared.
Yeah, I don't want to have 100 different messaging apps in like a
Yeah,
folder on my phone where I need to open each one differently to message each different contact. I want to just have
WhatsApp was
one
the
where everything
main
is.
one, so it's annoying that Facebook has to go and do this now, because it just means everyone has to migrate somewhere.
Yeah, but and literally, I have 5 contacts on Signal, and all of which I asked to download the app.
I have probably two.
And that's the thing. I don't want to be that guy who like asks everyone, "Oh, come download Signal." I don't want to do WhatsApp anymore. Honestly, I don't mind. I don't mind about the whole security thing. I don't think I send that many weird messages. I don't think I do. Um, but yeah, if other people keep using WhatsApp, which is the case for now, I'm gonna keep using WhatsApp.
Ah,
But didn't like WhatsApp or Zuckerberg like put out some sort of like news where he promised everything was fine, that WhatsApp was gonna be the same as it was before, and that there wasn't anything to worry about or something.
yeah, so they said something about misunderstandings in the terms and
Mm-hmm.
conditions, but at the end of the day, if they have a way to share your data, it doesn't matter if they say, "Oh yeah, it's going to be the same." You have to, they're going to have to alter the terms and conditions if they don't want to lose so many more.
Yeah. So I mean, like in a nutshell, I'm gonna be a sheep as well. I'm gonna be like you. I'm only switching if everyone else switches.
Yeah.
I really don't want to have like three messaging apps on my home screen where I have to keep switching. I really don't want to, and then like keep getting different notifications. It's a nightmare. I don't want it. I guess, but that's about it. Should we like take a break for now, and we'll talk more to you guys about CES 2021 and a quick game that I've put together that we'll play right at the end. Okay, so CES 2021. First of all, did you tune in? We'll pick out tech that we found most interesting later on.
With CES, so last year CES was one of the big things that happened. I was quite not last year, sorry, 2019. I was I was attentive. I was there. I was listening, and even in 2020. But then in 2019, I even based one of my project I had to do in school for it. But I didn't even know it was happening this year. Only when Ali said, "Oh yeah, what was your favorite thing in CES?" or when I was asked about CES, I was like, I don't know what was there. I only saw only after I saw a couple like news articles on some concepts that I actually
Yeah,
realized that CES went down. But yeah, after that, then I did a couple bits of research into what I thought
yeah,
would be cool.
yeah. So, like, by the way, if anyone didn't catch it, so CES normally held in Vegas, but this year, obviously, because of the pandemic, it was online only. So all the companies had to have their own like separate virtual events. I guess we'll go over because we've got like a couple of stuff in the notes, like specific tech that we wanted to go through. But first of all, one of the most I'll go first, if that's okay. But the first
Fine.
thing, something pretty cool that I think everyone will find interesting, but it's not that surprising. Razer, the peripheral company, the gaming keyboard mouse company, made an RGB mask. So like an N95 mask with LEDs, colored lighting everywhere. It was pretty wild. It looked I need to see it again. It was a pretty crazy picture. Like where did you I just saw it on like a tweet.
Yeah, I saw it on my Google feed. I didn't know it was a part of CES at the time. I just thought, oh, that's cool,
Yeah,
and then went on with my
yeah,
day.
Razer is pretty big on uh in CES. It's like one of the main companies that you go to in the show floor. And then now I'm reading, I didn't know this, but it has RGB lighting and voice amplification.
Yeah,
So it
that
basically
was
makes your voice louder.
that was one of the main things because a lot of people, especially with when you're actually gathering with someone uh, outdoors, then it's really hard to hear someone, especially if you're also 2 meters apart, which should be the case. So
Yeah, that was. Oh yeah, that I didn't think of that. That's pretty well. Yeah, that's a good point. But now I'm just seeing it. The case that it comes in is sick. The mask looks sick. This is like prime example of this is the mask. If like the pandemic is easing out a little bit, and then there's like esports tournaments or something, this
yeah.
is the mask they're gonna be wearing when they game, when they want to be next to each other, and they want to like talk to each other's teammates. This is perfect. Razer just made it's Razer. It's RGBs. If you didn't know, Razer is huge on RGBs on all their gaming
Yeah, their phones
peripherals,
even had
computers, and
RGB.
stuff.
So
Yeah, the back logo.
uh,
It's pretty wild. But I mean, if you can go next, I guess.
for me, I'm not so much a Samsung fanboy, but I admire Samsung. And one of the things
Okay.
was they released so with Samsung making it, it kind of makes it a bit more mainstream, and that's something called the Samsung Bully. Um, so
I have not heard of this at all.
okay, so it's basic. This is how I would describe it. It's kind of like the perfect representation of what I think our future might be. So it's like a ball the
Okay.
size of like a size for football, or slightly smaller than one of those big tennis balls, like the football sized tennis balls you get.
Okay.
That was my first impressions of it, and it kind of acts like a pet, a home service um, pet kind of thing. It's a bit weird. So it's not weird. It's just hard to describe. So
Wait, what
let's
does
just
it
call
do
it.
though?
Okay. So this is this is one thing I found in an article. So it says, and I quote, "Designed to be an all-round life companion, the ball-shaped gadget equipped with cameras and sensors are used to follow you around. It can control various smart home features, take photos, send you updates about your home when you're away, and even function as a fitness assistant." So,
Nice.
yeah, that's basically um, all in all, that's what it is. And so when it says it monitors your home, and by that it literally acts as a security system. So do you remember the Ring drone kind of thing? So when it detects
No.
motion or when you've left, then it comes out of this tiny little pod and then it flies around your home. I think it's actually quite new, and no one
I
actually
didn't, but
has
it
it.
sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. It moves around your home. It has cameras, um, and it can send you alerts. And then it's kind of like the physical embodiment of Bixby or Google Assistant. More
You know what
likely
it kind of
Bixby.
reminds me of? It's really similar to, you know, the Boston Dynamics robot dog.
Yeah, yeah,
Have you heard of that?
yeah.
Yeah, the what do they call it? Spot? The robot dog was called Spot, which was it's basically a robot dog which can just follow you around. It didn't I don't know if it served any main functionality or something. It's another thing that comes to mind is the I don't know what company made it, but the robot vacuum.
Uh huh.
That was
Yeah.
also I mean like they're probably similar, just go around the house doing its thing. Speaking of doing its thing, what does it do? What does it take photos of?
So it
What
can
is
take.
it? How does it?
When it says take photos, I think it just means you can go OK Bally or something like that. Take a photo, and then it takes a photo of you.
I think the next obvious question is like, how does it roll?
That is a good
Does it literally
question.
just does it literally just have like moving components, like a motor or something, which it's like a rod or something which the thing spins around, and it's battery powered. How do you charge it? A couple of questions that
I'm
come to
sure it
mind.
has
It's a Samsung tech product.
I'm sure it has USB Type C.
USB C, really?
Yeah,
On
I mean
something? I think it would have like a charging dock.
uh
If you're like gonna commit to this Samsung Bully, I think you should. I think it's gonna have like a charging dock,
that would be cool if it
which it
just
just like
backs up.
sits back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same. It's the same as the robot vacuum. It has like a little charging dock where it charges
Uh-huh.
itself after
Yeah.
every session of vacuuming.
So this is, just to make
But it's
clear,
like,
it is just a concept. It's not actually
oh right, yeah.
yeah,
CES is full of concepts.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting them to ship this next year.
I'm just checking
Okay,
out
sounds.
I'm checking out how it actually rolls. Alright, so just to let you know, I guess. So it's kind of made of three parts. The outer shell. One is the middle part, and then which contains the camera and all of that. And then the second is the outer. There are two parts on either side of the middle, and that helps it roll. So the two parts spin while the middle part, which houses all of the actual equipment, doesn't. But the two outer parts, they are the ones that spin, and they're slightly more. They're slightly indented.
Okay.
No, outdented. I'm not sure how you call it. Yeah,
Or like
that's
has
my
domes on it
explanation.
or something. Okay, sounds pretty cool. I'm gonna look into that a little bit more. Sounds pretty interesting. But the other, I guess, companies that I was really interested in, specifically for CES 2021, for some reason, I guess I just got into screens more. CES has a lot of screens, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
yeah,
screens as in TVs and, like, monitors.
yeah, because I think we're reaching another point where 8K is slightly becoming more mainstream, higher resolution is becoming more mainstream,
Yeah,
and
you're basically, CES is just pushing the whole resolution thing, like, you see 8K TVs,
yeah,
rolling TVs,
and
crazy
a lot,
resolutions, high dynamic range, OLEDs, QLEDs, whole ton of that.
yeah, and even the see-through TVs are popping up in CES as well. So that's one cool thing.
See-through. Oh, I did see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty interesting. But I guess these are a little bit more boring because they're really not that like innovative or anything. I guess they kind of are, but barely any people are gonna um care about it that much. So Dell, first of all, they make monitors. Other than the other stuff that they make, like pre-built PCs and stuff, but they made a 40-inch ultra wide, which is 5K by 2K. 40-inch ultra wide, that's a weird size for an ultra wide, but it's just like that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is the resolution, so 5K by 2K. I think this was like one of the first ones we saw of this resolution over 34 inches, because I think we've had like a 34-inch LG 5K monitor. This one's 40 inches, curved, and it's not really the first though, is it? If LG already had that resolution, it's not that I doubt many people are gonna care about it, but I thought it was pretty cool. But the more interesting thing, LG is another huge company at CES. Did you like last year? Didn't they had this amazing presentation? Did you see like these TV panels at the top where like the ceiling was just covered in TVs?
Yeah, I did, and also I think it was this last year CES where they showed you like how QLED panels are made, how LCD not made, but like the composition of them. So I think
Yes,
that was pretty
LG
cool.
shows a bunch of cool screen tech and like they make sick TVs and stuff,
Yeah, and
and they're just pushing that tech, which is great.
they had that smart in 2019. They had the smart home, the smart car. So it's quite.
They
LG is
did, yeah.
definitely a big CES,
Smart
and
car.
so they had this kind of like concept ride sharing
That
car.
was Sony, wasn't it? That Sony was, wasn't it Sony that they had like a concept car where they were like showcasing all of their tech. Like they didn't plan on selling it. They
No,
just
no,
showed like the
I'm
audio
talking about
system.
LG. I'm talking about LG here. Yeah, it was
Okay.
CES 2020.
Okay.
So they had some cool ride sharing car where you could like you could seat four people. It was automated, um, and you could each person could listen to their own movie and stuff like that. So it was quite cool.
Yeah. I didn't see too much about TVs this year. I mainly saw so they had like these LG Gram laptops. Not too interested in those. Those are like it's like the thinnest and lightest 16-inch laptop or something. Um, but the more interesting thing is that the monitors that they put out. So they actually brought out newer versions. They already had these monitors. It's called, if you want model names, you're not gonna remember it. It's called the LG 27 GN 950-B. You can't find it anywhere, so don't even try because it's out of stock everywhere with all these consoles. Because I mentioned consoles, next gen consoles, because the thing about these monitors, they're 4K at 144 hertz. That's great for PS5. That's great for Xbox Series X. That's the main machines that they're made to accommodate.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, PS5s and Xbox are sold out completely over everywhere.
Along with this monitor. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we can move on now because there wasn't if there's any other pieces of tech that you wanted to mention from CES, I guess. Yeah, me too. It's just It was kind of difficult. It's kind of annoying that they probably had a lot of cool stuff open, but I just didn't get around to see it all because it was online. I have a short attention span, if I'm being honest. And but a couple of things I just saw I think was pretty cool. They had a tech YouTuber on who was presenting the main event with someone else. So Justine, they had her on. They were preparing for it for a while. It was pretty cool. But that's about it for CES. Now, we're going to move on to probably the most original part of this podcast. We haven't really had a game recently. We've talked a lot about tech news and stuff. Now we've made a game, and we have no idea what to call it. We'll think about the name later or something. Maybe if you have any suggestions right now. But basically, it's not... Let's be honest, it's not that original, is it?
No, I wouldn't say so.
It's not completely original, but we're just doing like a tech version. I think we'll say we put our own twist on it. So if you watch any shows, I guess like the YouTube channel Dude Perfect, super popular, like 50 million subscribers. Who are you if you haven't heard of them? They have a show called Overtime, which they have a mini show called Cool Not Cool, where they like rate items cool not cool. Where they bring on and then they talk about, or another YouTube channel that you might have heard of dedicated to doing that kind of stuff. So Dope or Nope, hosted by Matthias. That's just a YouTube channel that I watch. They're both great channels, but they have their own version where they like order products from Amazon and then they just rate them dope or nope. We're doing a tech version of all of this, so I'm just gonna say the description is like, I guess we're gonna describe certain products or things that people do in the tech world, and then you're gonna say if you like them or if you don't like them. For now, you're just gonna say if you don't like them or not, because if you like them or not, because we don't have a proper name for it. All right, so I guess we'll get started. First of all, I'll go through like the simpler, more boring ones, and then we'll see what you think of them, and so you can get an idea of the game. First of all, screen protectors.
I had a green pen somewhere with me. I'm just gonna slam it down on my desk. Yes, green, cool. I mean,
Right.
obviously
Nice.
they protect
Okay,
your
so
screen, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you guys can't see this, but he's gonna show me a green pen or a red pen if good or not good, so respectively. Okay, screen protectors. Okay, this one's a little more complicated than just screen protectors, yes or no. Screen protectors included in the box.
So when you say included in the box, do you mean like on the phone?
Yeah, so like pre-installed.
Okay, so
like for example,
with
what Samsung
pre-installed
does.
screen protectors, I think does Samsung do plastic or tempered glass?
That's the thing. That's the point of this one. So like Samsung puts in really cheap paper thin plastic screen protectors.
Yeah, so with my Nord, I had to order one anyway. Like, it's a nice touch. I think it's still cool, it's still a green because, you know, it's not hard to take off, so it's not exactly a problem. But it's silly if you just put in a plastic screen protector and then raise the price a bit because of that. But if it's just there for consumer benefit, then yeah, sure, keep a plastic screen protector. But most people will go for tempered glass anyway if it's a problem.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. I would just say, yeah, I would agree. I think Samsung should at least put like some sort of glass screen protector. Like, just it's so cheap. The plastic thin sheet. It's so useless. Honestly, it's really not going to do anything. I don't use screen protectors personally. I don't use cases either. I'm a naked phone guy. But yeah. So moving on. Next one. Chargers not being included in the box.
Complete. Whereas it's just, even if you haven't changed the charger in 6 years, actually, you know what?
Even if you take into account the environmental angle.
Yeah, so if I take into account environmental as well, then if you're not giving the fastest charger in the box, let's say you're giving a 5-watt charger even though you just enabled your phone for 10 watts or something like that, then yeah, it's fine. Take away the charger, because if you haven't changed it in 10 years, most people will have it. But there's no point enabling your phone, putting the charger, selling the charger, but then just not giving it to the consumer when you haven't put out any other devices that use this, any other phones that use this charger. I think it's
I
just
think we've had a
highly
dedicated
stupid. So for
section
that,
of one of our previous episodes where we talk about literally this, chargers being included in the box or not. So I don't think we'll rage too
yeah,
much, but
but
I
yeah, I'll
think,
just go straight to
yeah,
red.
we'll link you to that podcast. Link in the description. Okay, next up is charging your phone at night before you go to bed.
I'm gonna say, so I don't know about on iPhones, but on Androids, literally all of them that I've used, they have this thing called adaptive charging, or whatever the company names it, and that is basically, it sees your routine, so then it fills it up. So let's say I wake up at 6:30, then it will every morning, then it will slowly fill up and until at 6:30, the phone will be at 100%. So I think that's good. So therefore, overnight is fine as long as you have that adaptive charging.
Okay.
So yeah, green.
Okay. Yeah, it's the adaptive charging. You said like different companies have different names. I know iPhones have it as something called trickle charge. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they charge up to 100% and then stop charging, and then like your phone stops allowing charge through to prevent the battery from degrading over time. Okay. The next one, people who turn off their phones at night. So we just did charging overnight. People who turn them off.
I'm gonna say a red.
Like as in shut
I'm
down.
gonna say a red to that, because people might think that you lose battery too quickly overnight, and for some that may be if you have a really old phone, but for me, I lose at most 2 or 3% overnight with my Wi-Fi off. That is. So, and for people who think, it's next to my head, I should probably turn it off so that it doesn't emit anything, which is a lot of especially older people's concerns. You could just turn it on aeroplane mode. It has the same thing, because they were initially
Yeah, I do
they were
that.
initially afraid that the radio signals transmitted by your phone would interfere with the aeroplane's radio signals. So yeah,
Yeah.
aeroplane mode. If you just turn it on there, turn off your Wi-Fi, then you'll have the same effect. And turning off your phone, you turning it on and off, actually takes up more battery than just leaving it overnight. Even if you have an
Okay,
older
but
phone.
you're still okay with having some sort of like, you're against the radio signals like problem with your like, is it like ruins your sleep or even sometimes gives you tumors over long periods of time. I guess I've heard people
Yeah,
talk
I
about
think
that, but I guess
that is just if the phone is next to your head for probably a day straight or something like that, because that is very severe. And I doubt that something like that would happen, especially because phones are so mainstream now.
okay. Next one. So True Tone, or whatever your phone calls it. So the like adaptive color shift, like which adapts to like the lighting of the surrounding, which can make your phone's screen easier on the eyes.
So first when you said shifting, I was thinking about my dad has a monitor that I sometimes use when he's not using it, and basically that has adaptive brightness. Every 2 seconds, it just goes from the highest brightness to the lowest brightness, even though
Okay.
the level of lighting doesn't change in the room. So, but for
Mhm.
actual blue screen filter and all of that, if you're making the screen a bit warmer, I actually use it 100% of the time, not because I want to use it 100%, but because it doesn't make a difference to me. except for it's good apparently, and I can't be asked to turn it on and off every single day. So yeah, green.
Yeah, let me check right now. Let me check right now if I have
I
night
have it
shift
on.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have night shift on, but it says it's on until 6. So, like, I just turn it off. The only reason I have night shift on is I automatically turn it on at, like, 10 or, like, 11 when I'm about to wind down and sleep. And then, like, when I go on my phone before I sleep, when I'm, like, watching something or going through social media or something, that's when the color shift actually helps. Like, you don't want, like, blue lights.
Yeah.
It actually, like, it's less harsh on my eyes, the orangey tints. But okay, the last one is pretty funny. We talked about it already from the CES, but RGB.
RGB. Yep, I thought you would say that. I've already got my green out. I'm just gonna smack it against the table.
Okay.
100%. I think RGB is fine.
Okay, but
Who wouldn't want it?
For what?
Look, if you're talking about tech, RGB, you could put it everywhere, just not overkill.
Okay, I wanna put forward an idea. Do you think RGB is fine in gaming phones like the ROG Phone 2 with the fact that they take away features like wireless charging?
I think because with the ROG phone, you have a huge battery, and because charging is so slow, wireless charging is so slow, it's a bit annoying to have to wirelessly charge up to 100%. So for that reason, I think I'm just gonna go with it's fine to take it away. But what do you mean by RGB? Do you mean the full blaring lights or the accents?
What do you mean by actions? As in like no, I mean like just colored
Like
lights. Basically.
Razer phone.
Yeah, like
Razer phone.
you know mechanical keyboards or mice or something that have gaming peripherals mainly have RGB, like backlighting.
But no, then just 100% no, because
What?
I mean you wouldn't want because if you're on your phone in the night and then RGB is on,
Oh
then your whole room
not
gets
on my.
illuminated.
I mean like on your keyboard and stuff.
If you have RGB on your phone like the Razer phone did, 100%, that's fine.
Okay. So you're willing to take away wireless charging, even if you had a wireless charger?
With the ROG phone, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But that concludes our game show for tonight. The thing that I want to do is make it less like a game show, and what I want to do in the future, we'll have it on majority of podcasts unless they're too long, but I think what would be pretty cool is like just don't make it tech. Like just ask things about like just updates about other things. Like this section of the podcast we might dedicate to just things other than tech in the world. I think that could be pretty fun. Like just talking about things not related to tech.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think we've been talking about it for like 3 weeks now. We kind of stick to tech.
Yeah, we have. We really do. Yeah, tech does get a little bit boring. Even though we love tech, it does get a little bit boring.
It's a bit repetitive.
We want to talk about other things. Yeah, it really is. Like, just the same phone every year and everything. But, yeah, it's just... We'll talk about other things, like songs that came out or something, I guess. Or just other news on YouTube. Other stuff that we enjoy talking about. But for now, hopefully you enjoyed listening to, not watching yet, listening to this episode of the Compression Podcast. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Bye.